Welcome everybody to Warlord of SBAS plays Torment Tides of Numenera, Episode 1. Alright, I've tested this game to see how it plays, just so you know. Basic stuff. Alright, let's start. I'll of course be a male because why not?
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Just so everyone knows, this is a very, conversation heavy, and most of it is not voice acted, so I'll do my best to talk it out for you. Let's look at this body.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Let's see. Yeah, let's flatten to catch the wind. Slower still
Instinctively, you
down.
spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
I don't know. Let's study the world.
Now you see that this appears to be a huge megacontinent, the only land of any size, on this side of the world at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot the land, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down and across. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further to the north and east, you see a broad plain scattered with curious structures, visible even from this height. The northeastern portion of this land looks to be a desert, a strange blue dot like an eye in its exact center. It seems to hold a city in its watery grasp. To its west is a ring of huge mountains surmounted by enormous carved peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the bay below you. It's coming at you quickly.
Let's try to slow ourselves even more.
It's fruitless. You've reached a velocity that could, without irony, best be named terminal. You spread your arms and legs and try to catch a draft, and it looks like you'll hit the bay that's rushing toward you, unless you hit the building in its littered waters. A strange web of colors surrounds you, thrown by a figure standing on the balcony of the structure, but it is effective only at slowing your fall. You strike the building hard enough to crack its crystalline structure, and you hear one of the engines that supports it protest and howl, and the agony of the crash overcomes you, and then... darkness.
Alright. I like the visual effects in this game. They're pretty trippy. Alright, let's move this. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hull, as if it hungers for the light and needs to be filled. yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons wasted. Carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. Alright. I've read most of these tutorials, but I haven't beaten the game, so I'll skip through the most of them. But basically, you have multiple stats, and they affect how you can do stuff. Alright. There's no reason not to use all of them right now. Yay, success! You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Now you're gonna see how pretty it is in here. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You're not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done to you, done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Alright. Isn't that cool? Like cool water. The artists who made this game do a really good job. Oh, the glowing thing. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods into your mind. You stand in front of the rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment respite, sorry. A moment's respite from the waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air is resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body is an air breather, and the consistent pressure has been crushing you over so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennae. He believes it can get the two of you through the corridor door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention. Sorry. But that is hardly your concern. The mission can't be delayed. You must proceed. Deceive him before. Sure, let's cast a spell. This is taking too long. Cast a spell in Esoteria to fix the device yourself. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until the solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands and rewrite it and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. You waste the device at the door and stare of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. Dark hollow lies beyond, a patch that links the water-bordered cells and aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark waters. An electrical current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and iridescent fluid coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Try to disable the sonar pulse. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the dual force field, almost as if you can build it in the first place. You move it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only inky blackness of Piscini eye? Of a Piscini eye? Alright, whatever that is. Your memory begins to fade as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into the gap of your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. Something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling a scent of its prey, at the far end of the dark whispering field. Another glowy orb to poke. Poke it. Us poke glowy things. Stand beside a woman and on a verdant crag. Verdant? Yeah. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc looms from the center of the plateau. You are self-aware. Humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, it seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we found? Yeah. Give us your wisdom and superior intellect. That sounds douchey. Let's do that. A slight chill enters the air as you describe the potential powers of metallic disc below you and the sealed vaults beneath. She nods. So that's what your servitor machines are doing down there. You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, Alright, I'm convinced. The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing with schematics and architectural diagrams. When you descend into the plateau to examine the open ground. The women suggest having one of your servitors build a shelter for the time here. Try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on the shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. And it turns back to the task, ignoring you. Command helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Look for a deeper solution. Perhaps an effective metallic disc itself. I don't know. The mist falls into the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around your construct's skull. Mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any transdimensional emissions that might be in the area. Take a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledge it. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the side of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel a memory filling the gap in your mind. Block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. Ouch. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you're doing, and it's hunting you. Well, that doesn't sound good. And third orb to poke. Let me poke it. Poke. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Your defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders, and you need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenses. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from the hovering machine. You don't have time to strike them before they land. One is brutishly large. His weapon is a vibrating axe, and the other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and is holding a hilt with a sizzling visible blade. That sounds dangerous. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. See who fight defensively and figure out who is present the greater threat. Seems logical. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. Any field that flickers and waves around it suggests that in card matter at the molecular level. Word hard. Tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting for her turn to attack, and able to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes roll behind you. Her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you, and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant, and he topples bisected. Nasty. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Let's charge through them. That sounds stupid. You charge through the dim shadows and burst through the doorway, ramming into the near soldier. He falls and you rebound nimbly off him, only to take a direct hit from his companion's blade. The impact launches you down the hall just as you hoped, through the blows making your ears ring. You come to your feet and race on, ignore the mild ache in your chest. Projectiles skip and spark off the walls around you, and you barely feel the single desperate bolt that deflects off your reinforced backblade. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you as though a massive fist has struck the room itself and swaying on your feet. You see a frantic movement within the borders of a mirror of the edge at the edge of the room. Aw, no more orbs to poke. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the sexiest damn beast of them all? That's me. The border of the mirror lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, math, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But they are nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you. Precious few are vivid and full at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A murmur shakes the room, and slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Clever eyes, furrowed brow. Let's go with clever. The doppelganger makes its way over to you. It's about to speak with when a thuggish figure charges out of the crowd and shakes his knife in doppelganger's face. Speaking in your voice, the doppelganger raises a calming hand, appealing to the thug's better nature with a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the thug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for the trouble. Doppelganger turns to you, waiting for your decision. Yeah, sure. I'm assuming this is like, well, actually, I do know because I've played a little bit more than this. But it's like choosing your class. Basically, I chose a magic user, which is fun. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it. Technology of several kinds. From a myriad of past ages, you get the feeling you would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind, which is the magic user. Game description, clever. The doppelganger continues walking, stopping into you, feeling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out in the cavernous room, waking and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the wall. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through the shard worlds, like a bell. If bells could rot, something is coming. Throw to my pool. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and you step through. Alright, this is the actual character creation. Alright, these are the three choices I could have taken. The jack of all trades, basically good at everything. Kind of the sneaky, stealthy guy. His stats usually are good for speed. Go on speed. The glaive, which is basically your brute, and is go on might. And the nano, which is your magic user, or intelligent guy. Obviously, intelligence. I like going intelligence just because that's how I roll. All the stats you can see. Alright. 2 remaining points. Either I can make my intelligence even more, but you actually use all of these quite often. And one thing I know is I use speed and intelligence a lot. Might not so much. Because, yeah, interesting thing about this game is, like the older one, Torment game, you can avoid most fights. You can just like go through this almost passively, which is pretty fun. So I'm gonna actually increase my speed and my intelligence, because mine is not that important, though you probably want it if you want to play that type of style, which is fine. Whatever floats your boat. Usually buoyancy. Let's see. Oh, this is a very fun set. Basically, you get mild. So you can basically scan the surface less of people, which is useful to find out if someone's super evil. Although some people are just can avoid it, but I like taking it. Oh, that sounds pretty interesting. I've actually not. Yeah, these are really useful for combat, but I've never. Honestly, I've played like hours of this game and I've never gotten any combat special except for the tutorial combat. Because I just avoided it all because why not? So yeah, I can have more armor, which is not that important if you avoid most of the combat. I can see how Quantum Step can help in certain situations. So I'm going to take that just because it sounds fun. And it's a magic user type of thing. Do you have? Alright. So, got some lore here. You actually want to try to avoid having red, because that means you're super bad at it. So, let's see. And then you get blue orbs when you get even better. So, I'm gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna allow myself to have a base stat on lore. Because if you have red, you get suffer penalties for actually trying to do it. Alright, sounds good to me. I don't have any weapons training because I can't have weapons training. And now these are a lot. There's some good ones like this one. You get the less deception, but you can concentration lore, which is also actually really good for Mystic. This is actually a pretty good one because I usually don't intimidate as a magic user anyway. And that if I do this, I get rid of that debuff for lore mystical. I mean, you could do on anything. There's a whole bunch of you can choose from. But this is just the one. No, I'll go with mystical. Yeah, it looks good. Loading. Alright, before we talk to the Spectre, I'm going to end the episode today. I'm going to try to make them about half an hour long, but there's going to be a lot of talking, so fair warning. And I'm reading as best as I can, but there's a lot of big words I'm not used to and fantasy names. Oh, we haven't gotten to the fantasy names. Those are always confusing. Don't know how to pronounce them. But anyway, see you next time, and remember to embrace the chaos or you'll go mad. Bye.